Going to doctors can be frightening, both because of what they might say and because of the bill you might get stuck with. Well, before you get sick with worry, take a deep breath. Hattie DeJamal has ways to help negotiate down your medical debts.
Even with health insurance, a trip to the ER can come with a hefty price tag.
About 1 out of every 5 Americans has medical debt that's actually in collections, which means they have debt collectors pursuing them for this medical debt.
We spoke with author of Never Pay the First Bill and Other Ways to Fight the Healthcare System and Win, Marshall Allen, to learn how to negotiate our medical debt. First, dispute your debt in writing.
And so when medical bills get sent to collections, my assumption is that those bills are either inaccurate or that they're unfair. And so you need to dispute that debt in order to put a pause on the collections process. When you put it in writing, you create a paper trail, so there's a record of your dispute of the debt, and you create accountability for the entity that you send that letter to.
Marshall says there are deadlines to dispute debt, so
don't ever ignore a call from a debt collector. It's not going to make them go away, and it's not going to make your medical debt go away. Respond immediately.
Next, ask for proof you owe the debt.
There's an entire industry that's based on buying and selling people's medical debt.
So,
when you send that letter disputing the debt, you're going to ask, who owns this debt, and can you prove that I actually owe this debt? Because the other thing they're required to do is produce the paperwork to show that this debt is something you actually owe. And often, especially if your debt has been bought and sold on the debt buyer's market, and it's been swapped between a lot of different collection agencies, they won't even be able to produce the paperwork that proves that you owe that debt.
Finally, if you can, make a deal.
If it's owned by a debt buyer, you could expect and hope for and strive for an 85% discount off of that medical debt.
But when the debt collectors call, Marshall says they're going to play hardball, so stand your ground.
And you can say something like this: "Hey, debt collector, thank you so much for calling me to pursue this debt. I'm sorry, but I'm broke right now. So if you owe $1,000, they might have bought that debt for as little as $50. So you need to say, hey, so what's a win for you? If you could go back to your boss and say that you brought in $150 from this $1,000 debt, sticker price debt, would that be a win for you? Try and get it to a number that can be a win for them, and it's also something that you can afford."
We're ripping off the Band-Aid and negotiating our medical debt.